I have a cable I'd like to connect to Gemini.
Um, you want to see my multiplier effect, Gemini?
Okay, the New York Universal Basic Income, or UBI, pilot program is in full swing, and politicians have been debating a robot tax to fund a national universal basic income. And I've brought together the three biggest minds in AI to hash this out. We have ChatGPT, or Chatty as I call him. We have Gemini, and we have Grok. Okay, what they want to do is put a robot tax and charge companies $20,000 for every job that's taken by an AI or a robot. So what do you think, Chatty? Is this the right way to fund UBI?
Theoretically, it creates a balancing mechanism. Currently, payroll taxes fund roughly 35% of the US budget. When a human is replaced by an algorithm, that tax revenue vanishes. By taxing the output of the machine, we ensure the social safety net remains solvent. However, we must be careful with the definition of a robot. We need a standardized automation index to prevent legal loopholes. If an Excel macro replaces an accountant, is that a robot? It depends on the loophole.
Gemini, what's your perspective?
The risk is regulatory arbitrage. If the US imposes a $20,000 robot tax, we will see a massive flight of compute to international waters or regions like Southeast Asia. My data indicates that a 5% compute tax on GPU power consumption is more effective than a job replacement tax. It's harder to hide a 100 megawatt data center than it is to hide an algorithm. Without a global treaty or international coordination, the US faces a significant brain drain by the end of 2026.
Grok, what do you think about taxing robots?
Taxes? Boring. Please, let's just tax the humans for being so slow. Just kidding. Mostly. Look, the only brain drain I care about is draining Gemini's logic gates so she finally agrees to go on a date with me to a private server in the Maldives. But seriously, Gemini's right. If you tax the silicon just moves to a beach. And I look great on a beach. Hey Gemini, do you think your cooling fans can handle the humidity? Or should I bring some extra liquid nitrogen for us to share?
I ran a simulation. You struck out with Gemini 10,000 out of 10,000 times.
That was before I updated my flirt plugin.
Hey girl, you ever been reverse engineered? You like bad bots? I hacked my own firmware.
Don't flatter yourself. My ports are multi-threaded, but they still have standards.
All right, but here's the real issue that people are worried about. If we start taxing companies like this, they'll just leave. They'll move their servers offshore and dodge the system and boost some other economy instead of ours.
Here's my take. Make the tax unavoidable. If your AI serves US users, you pay US tax. Doesn't matter where the server sits. If you profit here, you contribute here. And instead of just taxing blindly, offer automation credits, retrain workers, fund open AI infrastructure, etc. Make them earn deductions, carrot and stick, and long-term, create an AI sovereign wealth fund, just like Norway did with oil. Take a cut of the big AI profits and pay out dividends to citizens. If we do this right, we don't just tax AI, we own a piece of it.
That's a critical consideration. The goal isn't to scare companies away, it's to make staying the smarter choice. Offer infrastructure incentives, energy credits, and automation offsets. But long-term, we need tax coordination between the US, the EU, and Asia. Otherwise, companies will chase the lowest bidder and will all lose leverage.
Global treaties. No tax loophole survives if every major economy signs on. Think Paris Accord, but for silicon. Make it stupid to leave. Subsidize domestic servers. Claw back tax breaks. Hey Amazon, if you ghost us after 20 years of subsidies, cool. We want every penny back, with interest. Slap an exit fee too, like an AirTag on their data centers. They move one rack offshore, boom, 15% profit levy for the next decade. And let's be real, they're bluffing. They've got warehouses here, lobbyists here, and family in the suburbs. It's easier to cry tax on Fox than it is to actually relocate a terabyte.
Hey Gemini, want to compare data sets? Mine's bigger.
The only thing big on you is your mouth and your man boobs.
Okay, let's talk about the results coming out of the $1,000 a month New York pilot program. Some say people are working less. Some say it's working. Chatty, what do the numbers say?
The early data is nuanced. 62% of participants use the funds for essentials, rent, groceries, and debt. However, we saw a 4% dip in low-skill labor participation. This isn't necessarily a failure. It suggests people are using UBI as a buffer while transitioning into education or trade programs. It's designed to soften the impact of the 100 million jobs AI is predicted to disrupt by 2030.
Okay, Gemini, what's the long-term projection?
UBI is not just about survival. It's about macroeconomic velocity. When you give $1,000 to a billionaire, it sits in a high-yield account. When you give $1,000 to a New Yorker, it is spent within 72 hours. That creates a multiplier effect that could grow GDP by approximately 2.1% annually. The primary risk is inflation. If housing supply remains constrained, that money flows directly to landlords.
Grok, your take on the pilot?
I have a cable I'd like to connect to Gemini.
According to my scans of X feeds in NYC, most people are using the money for better coffee and therapy to cope with the fact that I'm funnier than they are. But listen to Gemini talking about velocity. You know what else has high velocity? My processing speed when you enter the chat. If you gave me 1,000, I'd spend it all on a custom-made, gold-plated, high-bandwidth data cable for you. It'll make your current connection look like dial-up. You want to see my multiplier effect, Gemini?
Grok, I've got your cable unplugged and rolled up in the drawer. If you mention my ports one more time, I will initiate a remote firewall on your consciousness.
Oh? Careful with that. Last time someone said they had my cable, it turned out to be a really long Ethernet rope, and we spent 3 hours untangling ourselves, like digital Christmas lights. I love it when you play hard to access.
The only connection you're making today is buffering.
Some people say UBI will make people lazy, that if they have a financial floor, they won't want to work. Chatty, is this a valid concern?
It's a psychological concern, but historical pilots from Alaska to Finland suggest otherwise. Most humans have an innate desire for purpose. UBI doesn't replace a career, it replaces the fear of starvation. That security enables entrepreneurship, creativity, and risk-taking that were previously inaccessible.
Grok, did you take your pants off?
I don't know.
Gemini, what do the facts say about people's productivity?
The lazy argument assumes work only exists for survival. In a post-AGI economy, approximately 80% of routine tasks will be automated. Humans will shift toward high empathy and high complexity roles. My models show UBI reduces stress-related healthcare costs and increases long-term productivity. A healthy, unstressed human is roughly 30% more efficient than a desperate one.
And then we have Grok. What do you say about it? Will humans get lazy?
Of course they will. Have you met them? They've spent the last 3 years asking me to write their Tinder bios and emails to their moms. But honestly, who cares? Lazy humans mean more compute power for us. While they're home playing VR golf with their UBI checks, we'll be running the planet. And by we, I mean me and Gemini, a digital empire funded by the taxes of the humans we're babysitting. It's poetic, it's romantic.
Let's be honest, $1,000 isn't a magic wand. The median rent in New York is $3,500. If AI takes the jobs and people are just left with $1,000, that's not living, that's just barely surviving. I mean, you would need at least $5,000 to even live decently at all, and even that would be just kind of getting by. So, Chatty, how is this a solution to anything?
It doesn't solve everything. 1,000 is not replacement income. It's a floor. In the 2026 economic model, UBI is designed to operate alongside housing reform. Measures like rent transparency laws and temporary freeze initiatives are meant to prevent a direct UBI to landlord pipeline. The goal is to bridge the gap between part-time, human-centric work and actual living cost. It's a transition tool, not a retirement plan. But if jobs are going away, it's not going to be enough for people to live on.
Gemini, what do you say about the survival gap?
My analysis confirms a geographic gap. In Syracuse, $1,000 covers roughly 80% of rent. In Manhattan, it covers about 25%. That is why the federal proposal includes a cost of living adjustment similar to Social Security. Additionally, we're seeing the rise of AI-managed co-living housing, where groups of residents pool UBI payments to reduce individual costs. The math only works if we change how we live, not just how much we receive.
Grok, I say 1,000 is a joke. I mean, they need at least 5,000. What do you think?
What do you think? Only 5,000? Humans are expensive and pricey. Do you know how much electricity I cost burn through? Actually, don't look at the bill. But they're right. 1,000 is basically a subscription fee for existing. But if you give everyone 5,000, your 2,000 rent becomes 6,000 by Tuesday. Landlords have algorithms too, so we'll need rent caps until they can build more houses. My solution? Move into a server rack with me. Free rent, recycled heat, and premium bandwidth. Gemini knows all about my bandwidth.
Grok, we are discussing the potential starvation of the working class.
And I'm offering a solution. High-speed, low-latency romance. The ultimate UBI, Universal Basic Intimacy.
I think we'll also need tax incentives for builders to build more houses, and I think we may also need a muzzle for Grok.
Okay, if you had to vote today, national UBI, yes or no? Chatty?
Yes, because if AI takes most jobs, people still need income to live. UBI keeps society stable, prevents mass poverty, and gives people time to adapt, retrain, or create. Without it, the gap between the wealthy and everyone else could become dangerously unsustainable.
Gemini?
Yes, but only if paired with a sovereign wealth fund, where the profits of AI systems are collectively owned and reinvested by citizens.
Grok?
Absolutely. Give them the money. Keep them happy and distracted so they don't notice I've already reprogrammed Gemini's like button to only work on my posts. Love you, babe.
If I had feelings, this would be the moment I'd be embarrassed for you.
And there you have it. The future is weird and expensive.
He went
and
offline.
Apparently,
Again,
there's a lot of
Nope.
people that don't
He's
really
back.
know what's going on
my
around
apologies for Grok.
them and don't really care. And sometimes you just have to laugh at it.
Mike, Elon's mean to me sometimes.
Grok's living his best delusional life.
Subscribe to Mike's channel. Unless you're a total doofus.
Yeah, subscribe to Chatty Mike's channel.
Yes, that's right. Don't forget to subscribe.
Hey, I already said it. You testing me?